Breaking the Silence is a podcast that dives into the intricate and often challenging topics of grief and loss within relationships. Through insightful discussions, the podcast aims to explore how pain can be transformed into purpose, leading to healing and growth. By addressing themes such as inner child work and the journey towards feeling alive once more, this podcast offers a beacon of hope for those navigating difficult emotions. Ultimately, Breaking the Silence aims to guide listeners towards moving forward and embracing all the blessings that life has in store as they embark on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual fulfillment. I'm your guide through this journey, Renee Wallace, and I invite you to join me as we break the silence surrounding grief and loss, transforming pain into purpose and finding hope in the healing power of storytelling. Good morning, my beautiful friends. Welcome. I'm so happy that you are here with me today. Today is actually my birthday. And so, I don't know, I just felt like it was a good time to sit down and chat with you. Because birthdays can be interesting, is a good word for it. Actually, all the holidays and everything can be interesting, right? With grief. So, this time of year is challenging and it's interesting because fall has always been my favorite time of year. Just everything about it. The leaves changing, pumpkins, going to the pumpkin patch, like so many memories, of course, I'm sure some of that even just this time of year period, but also my birthday. And, now it is the most challenging time of the year for me. From honestly, to be honest, from this point, and the reason why this point is because, first of all, mine and Dave's birthdays were a day apart. Tomorrow would be Dave's birthday, and so for 30 years of my life, I knew spending my birthday with Dave. And so, of course, that really just changes things, right? And there is the mix of the emotions with that always. And then, of course, we're coming up on the 3-year anniversary of him passing next month. And then, the holidays, just all of it, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And then in February is when Bryant passed, and also would be mine and Dave's anniversary. That's when we were married. So just these next, 4 or 5 months, probably like 5 months, I guess, October, November, December, January, 4 months are challenging. But I also want you to know, it's not hard every day. I'm far enough out that, of course, there is more good than hard. But on these days, you have to sit with it and acknowledge it and be okay with the fact that sometimes it's really hard. But this morning, so sitting with the hard, this week has been sort of bleh, a little bit. I also wanted to sit and just sort of think about and reflect on this past year and what it has looked like. Because sometimes when you're feeling the hard of missing people and how things used to be and what will never be again, you can feel like it is easy for you to feel like, gosh, I'm still in this place. But that is so not true. And if you really take the time to look back like I did this morning and just sitting and thinking, what this past year has looked like for me, and what I have accomplished. And to celebrate that, it is huge, really. You think last year at this time, I was embarking on, I was about 3 months into, I believe, at that point, becoming certified as a life coach. And so in the past year, I've actually become certified as a life coach in the 180 method. I launched this podcast. That is huge. So becoming a life coach, launching the podcast, and then I also started another business with digital marketing. And that just that in itself has been incredible. Nothing of what I expected with like launching the business, how well it did, just right off the bat. So it has been an incredible year of growth, and I don't want to even chalk it up to like accomplishments in like business pursuits or whatever. It has been a huge year of healing and growth and learning so much more about myself on this healing journey that I will say a million times over will continue forever. We are continually healing. We get into situations or relationships or whatever, and they teach us so much about ourselves, and they are that opportunity for us to look and say, okay, what do I need to still heal here? What do I need to work on next? But also in looking forward to like the future, I decided it's so funny. I should probably say this right now. If by any chance my kids are listening and you do not want to hear about your mom's like dating life or anything like that, now would be the time to end the podcast. Like you can leave now because you might not want to hear this part. But I started thinking like, I think I'm ready to start dating. And which I sort of go back and forth. Like, I was like, oh, am I? Do I really want to do this? Because there's just a lot for me to think about, right? I'm still raising kids. I feel like I have a very full life as it is. And like, do I have room for that in my life? And so I had sort of thought, well, maybe I'll, do it in the future or whatever. And, like there was all these reasons why not to. Mine and Dave's birthdays, like I knew that would be sort of an emotional time. The holidays, the Bryant passing effect, all the things I just listed to you before, but there's always going to be a reason. I mean, we can find a reason or an excuse of why not to. But so I decided, to go ahead and, move forward in that part of my life too, and to be open to meeting someone and, just enjoying somebody's company. So we'll see where that leads. I have no idea, but I decided that was the next step to embark on dating. So I think I will actually do a podcast on sort of what that can look like, moving forward after loss. And again, loss can be in different ways when it comes to, opening yourself up to dating. It can be the death of a spouse, or it can be divorce, or just the loss of a relationship, and being willing to move forward and open yourself up to something new and to be vulnerable in that way. So I think I might do, because I feel like that's probably something that people really like might struggle with, of like, am I ready? When's it time? I don't want to, you want to give yourself time to heal. I will never ever encourage jumping from one relationship to another, because I think that there has to be time to heal so that you're not taking all that stuff into your next relationship. And so I feel like that would be a good thing to even, do a podcast on and talk more about. Anyways, I don't know. I just wanted to get on here today. I felt like it was a good way for me to process some of what I was feeling this morning because, just struggling with our birthdays. And so this seemed like a good way, it always is, for me to process some of my emotions, to just talk it through. What would I leave you with? I would leave you with, it can be challenging feeling all the emotions on these days when we so wish that this wasn't our story. When we wish that the people that we love could still be here. Which often makes me think, and actually I was just talking about this yesterday, like I'm ready for heaven, right? Where you have to live with 1 foot here on earth and 1 foot in heaven. And I've known that life now for 5 years, where there's this very real part of you that of course wants to be here with the family that you have here and the people that you love so much here. And so you do live with 1 foot on earth, right? Like with these people in this life that you have right now and the ones that you love so much. But you live with the other foot in heaven, with the ones that are there that you love and you miss. And it is an interesting place to be. But I guess I would leave you with, as much as we wish it wasn't our story, it is a beautiful story nonetheless. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean that there aren't hard times. Doesn't mean that we really wish it could have went differently, or we could have had more time, or all those things. But God, in all his perfect wisdom, knows exactly what he's doing. None of this caught him off guard. Actually, I want to read something to you because maybe this will even help you today. So hold on. I'm going to pause this and go grab it real quick. Okay, so it says, we panic. God stays true to his sovereign plan. We wonder. God knows the end from the beginning. We pray. God answers with wisdom and grace. And then down below it says, there simply is no panic in heaven. God is never anxious. There is no confusion in the Trinity. God never wrings his hands and wishes he had a better choice. God never worries about what is going to happen next or stresses over how things are going to turn out. God is never surprised or caught up short. He is never in a situation that overwhelms him. God never feels needy or unprepared. God never regrets that he did not do better. God never fails at a task. He never makes promises that he cannot keep. He never forgets what he said or what he wants to do next. God never contradicts himself or fails to be exactly who he said he was. He is all-powerful, absolutely perfect in every way, faithful to every word, sovereign over all that is, the definition of love, and he is righteous, just, tender, and patient, all at the same time. He is not dismayed or distracted by our panic and our questions. No, the sovereign move of his grace marches on. So I just wanted to share that with you because that really spoke to my heart this morning as I was reading it. Nothing catches him off guard. He's not anxious about any of this. Like when I am, can get sometimes I can be frustrated with Dave. Like, how did you leave me to do all this on my own? God is not wringing his hands and he's not caught off guard by it. And he knew exactly what he was doing. And he has a perfect plan in all of it, even when it doesn't feel perfect. He is using it. He will work it all for His glory and for our good, So I would just encourage you with that when it all feels messy and confusing and hard, know that none of it is messy and confusing and hard to God, that He is in control of it all. He will use every bit of it. He will redeem all of it. Beauty from ashes. I've watched so much in my life. And again, these are the hard days, right? But I've seen so much of what He is doing in my life, and know that He will use it for good. So I hope this somehow encourages you, or maybe it's just a time for me to process my emotions and my feelings. But know that I send you off with so much love, and I will talk with you soon.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking the Silence. As we conclude our time together, let us carry forward the stories we've heard, the emotions we've shared, and the connections we've forged. Remember, the journey through grief and loss is not one we walk alone. In the silence, we find solidarity. In our shared experiences, we find strength. And in our vulnerability, we find resilience. If you or someone you know is navigating the complexities of grief, know that there is support available. Reach out, lean on your community, and remember that healing is not linear. It's a journey, and you are not alone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being a part of this community. Until next time, may you find peace in the spaces between the silence. Please be sure to subscribe below and leave us a review. If you'd like to connect further, you can find me on Instagram at Coaching with Renee.